Hey Vegas, think you've got Vegas figured out? Not so fast. On today's episode of Vegas Realty Check, we're going to be busting the biggest myths about the city. From buying a home under $300,000 to whether or not we're actually running out of water. Is Airbnb still worth it in Vegas? And do locals really hang out at the Strip? We're going to cut through the hype and give you the real story on today's Mythbusters episode, so stay tuned. Welcome back and good morning, Courtney.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today? Good. Before we get into any of our myths that we have to debunk today, let's talk about what's going on in news.
So some of the news we've been seeing, and I think we talked about this last week, is that there's a lot more homes on the market for sale, not as many buyers. But I saw an interesting article that said California has had the largest price drop they've had in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So I actually looked, the average house last year, average price of a house in California was $904,000.
Okay.
So I guess they've seen a huge price decrease over there, which kind of tells a story about what is going on in the market right now.
Yeah, I just kind of powered through that very boring Fed testimony that they did over the last couple days. Oh my goodness, if you want some sleeping material. However, the Jerome Powell, obviously, and he is in he is literally in a pissing competition with the president right now. Like they are just at it with each other, and then in the meeting, people are praising him.
And a few others.
Well, yeah, I mean, who's not, right?
Yeah.
But other people were praising him for not backing down to the president by not lowering rates. And overall, he was saying that basically inflation is where it needs to be to have rates lowered. But the reason why he's not doing any adjustments right now is because he believes that inflation will be affected in the future by tariffs and basically forecasting or predicting, which I don't think is solid. I think you should just go off the data and do what you need to do. But anyways, and in summary, he also said, which I was like screaming at the radio when I heard this,
I don't blame you.
is that inventory is still low and the housing market's still very stable. And I'm like, I don't know what housing market you're looking at because that's not the case. We are actually very high inventory across the country, and the housing market is struggling right now.
And you can see it because there's a ton of houses on the market. There's not enough buyers, or there's buyers, they're just not qualifying because the rates are so high. And then you see all these price decreases, which it's because sellers are becoming more desperate to get their home sold.
Yeah.
And I think even when people list their house now, the reality hits of what maybe they got their house for 10 years ago, and now they start looking at what they're going to get now, and it's just so different.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And it's very deflating when you put your home on the market and no one's showing up.
Absolutely.
And, we have to talk. I had a conversation with another agent recently, and comps are kind of not relevant right now in this market because just because a home sold for that amount last year doesn't necessarily mean it's going to sell for that amount right now. We're definitely having to price very aggressively to get some movement.
And that kind of takes me into the second topic I was going to bring up. I saw that Lennar, which is the second largest home builder in the country, is doing a dramatic drop of 9% in their average home price right now. So that says a lot. Their average home price across the country right now is sitting at $389,000 because I'm sure they built a ton of homes. I mean, new builds were crazy for a while.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now they have all this inventory and
it's not moving. Yeah.
And it's not selling. So I guess they said that the word they would use is they wouldn't even call it a dip at this point as far as the real estate market. They would call it a full reset.
Yeah.
Like they're just, all the houses are being repriced and the prices are dropping. So that's really great news for a buyer trying to get in and get seller concessions. But, with the rates still being high, it's just making it a tricky market right now.
Yeah, so now officially in June 2025, I'm going to just make the statement, we are in a buyer's market.
Oh, 100%.
This is 100%. I've seen things on the news that said, we're slipping into a buyer's market. And I'm like, nope, I don't think so. We are in one.
Absolutely.
So inventory, just to give some quick stats, we are at 6,807 of single family homes on the market, up 58 from last week, 2,538, up 11 in condos and townhomes.
And we have 1,136 new listings, which is 121 less than last week.
But still a lot.
Yeah.
Price decreases, 1,308. Those are 19 less from last week, but still a pretty high number right there. Under contracts?
809, which is 7 more from last week. Not a ton of movement, but we have 585 sold, which is 73 less than last week.
Yeah, I mean, our sold numbers are not terrible, but they're not great. Yeah. So it definitely could be worse, but they're definitely not great. We just have too much inventory and not enough buyers right now in this market. Rates did come down slightly, though.
They did. So right now, it was the biggest dip we've seen since April 4th. So that's some good news. It wasn't extreme. We were sitting closer to like a 6.9. Right now, we came down to about a 6.75 for like a conventional 30-year, sitting at about a 6.25 for FHA, VA. So it did come down a little bit. It's been the best, rate decrease we've seen since April 4th. So that's good news. Is it as low as we want to see? No. Yeah. But either way, anything is better than nothing. So that's always good news.
Yeah. We definitely need the Fed to do an adjustment on those rates. They're meeting again in July, but based off his testimony, I don't think anything's really going to happen then.
No, I don't really either. But, I mean, best case scenario, at least home prices are coming down a little. So that way, with the interest rates being so high, at least people can find something. Because if I'm doing a pre-approval and they're getting approved for $225,000, it's so hard for them to find something. Yeah,
there's definitely a lot more options on the market. And speaking about the Vegas market, we hear rumors all the time that Vegas is running out of water. So is it? We'll find out next.
Celebrate every day in style at the Composer's Room. From live music to comedy shows, we've got entertainment that'll give you that Las Vegas vibe. Our tavern serves the best drinks in Vegas. Whether you're a cocktail connoisseur or a beer buff, our bartenders got you covered. And let's not forget about the food. Our culinary delights are sure to tantalize your taste buds. Come for the entertainment and stay for the food. Reserve your visit to the Composer's Room today and start celebrating Las Vegas our way.
Looking for a night out that's pure Vegas? Welcome to Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club, voted best comedy club in Las Vegas. Located at the Link Promenade, just steps from the High Roller, it's your ticket to big laughs from top comics handpicked by Jimmy Kimmel himself. No two shows are alike. Every night's a headliner, and every seat's a great one. Get your laughs at the best. Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club, only in Vegas, only at the Link.
Hey Vegas! Celebrate every day in style at the Composer's Room. From live music to comedy shows, we've got entertainment that'll give you that Las Vegas vibe. Our tavern serves the best drinks in Vegas. Whether you're a cocktail connoisseur or a beer buff, our bartenders got you covered. And let's not forget about the food. Our culinary delights are sure to tantalize your taste buds. Come for the entertainment and stay for the food. Reserve your visit to the Composer's Room today and start celebrating Las Vegas our way.
Every home has a story. What's yours? From your first home to your forever home, Trish Williams helps you write each chapter. Real estate is about the life you build. Hire Trish to be part of your story. Trish Williams, Keller Williams Realty. License S.01755530. Call 702-308-2878. Start your next chapter today.
Welcome back. In our last segment, you mentioned affordability for buyers and buyers looking for homes under $300,000, for instance. I have that as our first item in our Mythbusters because back, in recent history, not too many years ago, finding a single-family home under $300,000 in the Valley was pretty easy. However, in recent years, that has become less available. So let's talk about that a little bit.
What are you seeing on your end because I know I've done, even in the last probably 3 weeks, like 4 or 5 approvals, and, they're stuck right around, their buying power's right around 225, 250 maybe. So, what are you seeing in that price point?
$300,000 right now in today's market will basically get you a condo or townhome. So it can get you a home, just not a single family home, not a standalone home. Basically, it'll get you a condo or townhome in most parts of the Valley. Also, there's manufactured homes that are in that price point. There's some areas outside of the Metro Las Vegas area, like outside of the core city, like Pahrump. There's definitely some options there in the $300,000 range.
And I always kind of like to bring that up too because with the manufactured homes, I had someone who was approved for like $225,000, looking at some down payment assistance programs and things like that. So not a lot of money to come in with. And sometimes with manufactured homes, there can be more expenses up front.
Yeah.
And so, I think it's also being realistic about at this price point, if we're looking in Pahrump, sometimes there's like flood insurance that has to be had, or with manufactured homes, there is a little bit more cost up front as far as an engineer's certificate, and if you're on a well or a septic tank, certain testing that has to be done.
Yeah, and that's very common in Pahrump.
Absolutely. So I think it's really, too, knowing what you're paying up front, especially if you're, looking at a lower price point, and then being realistic about the money that has to go out first, too.
Absolutely. And then also those expenses come in when you're talking about condos, too. In the loan world, are we still running into a lot of those issues with condo approvals?
Yeah, and a lot of times we do have to get like the HOA, the certificate to see what's going on, and if
the condo cert.
Yep, the condo cert, and see if we can get certain things approved and what's going on, if there's anything in litigation. So it can be a little bit more time consuming and a little bit trickier, but there are options.
Yeah.
I'm sure single family homes though here for $300,000 are probably.
Well, the median price range right now for single-family homes is $480,000. So that is, that's your median price range. Obviously, there's some less and some higher than that actual median range. However, that's a good thing to keep in mind if you are relocating from another state and you're looking to buy a single family home in $300,000 in Las Vegas, you probably need a time machine.
Literally. And I feel like another hard thing is if something goes on the market that's priced just incredible like that and it's decent where you can move into it, I feel like most of the time an investor's hearing about it before it probably hits the market, or the second it hits the market, and they're buying it as a fix and flip or an investment property. They're paying usually all cash for something like that.
Yep.
And it's off the market in 2 seconds.
And many times when we see homes in that price range, there's a lot of homes that are, that will be listed, for instance, at $300,000 single family home, cash only. It's not financeable. It is a true and pure fixer-upper. So that is something that you're going to have to go in and put some money into to make it livable in most cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and if there is, exactly what you said, if there is something out there that's just that little unicorn that's priced really well, that's single family home, someone's probably going to scoop it up for a rental because it's going to be a great investment property as well.
Yeah, especially here in the way the home prices have gone up. So, Usually if it's a great price, it's gone very, very fast. And there's a lot of people here that work with, different foreclosure situations, short sale, or just have more of an in sometimes before things even hit the market, and they're gone.
Yeah.
So it's really keeping an eye. And like I said, my job is to give a pre-approval at any, price point, whatever they can get approved for. And your job is to find them something if there's something out there.
Find them that magic home.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
absolutely. So there's also a huge rumor going that it's going around. It's on, it's been on the news at different times. We've seen Lake Mead, which is our lake where we get water from here in the valley, has dropped significantly in these levels. And there's a big rumor going around that Vegas is running out of water.
I actually thought that for a while. That's all I used to hear.
That's all most of us heard, which, people were saying, why are they still building homes? We're not going to have any water. This is just going to be a dry desert. People aren't going to be able to live there.
We're definitely a dry desert, but we do have some water here.
And we do have water. So let's talk a little bit about the facts behind that.
Yeah, so I guess I actually learned a lot just from reading some of this, but I guess Las Vegas is the leading water conservation place in the world.
Yep.
I guess we literally preserve like every ounce of water and we clean it and reuse it.
Yeah, we recycle nearly all indoor water. Every drop that goes down the drain, sinks, showers, toilets is treated and returned to Lake Mead, earning the city credits for reuse.
I don't know if that's very cool or kind of strange.
It's they clean it up when it goes back out. I looked at a water report from
I was going to go maybe to Lake Mead on someone's boat July 4th, and I'm like,
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know, it's kind of gross.
You definitely want to shower as soon as you get out of the water.
Sure.
If you get in, it's a little. I don't know. I'm not too.
But even do you remember years ago, like 15 years ago, there used to be all these different places in front of the strip in a lot of the hotels that are now gone. Like a bunch of, there are still some, but not as many. Like Mirage used to have the volcano with all the water, and all these other hotels used to have like water, like things in front of them, and a lot of those have been.
Yeah. Because of conservation, we have some very strict restrictions on water use here.
Absolutely.
And they're getting stricter because we are trying to conserve and look forward to our future of preserving the valley and making sure that we do have water for generations to
like
come.
artificial grass, they were having people transfer out of real grass to artificial grass or like rocks.
Yeah, yeah. And the water district gives credits if you are to do that. Oh, big thing. Homeowners to know about those credits, that water district credit where it's an easement on the property. So that runs with the property. If you get that credit on landscape, so say you got rid of all the grass in your backyard and you replaced it with desert landscape, they pay you a certain amount per square foot to do that. They put an easement on the property. That easement remains when you sell the house and transfers to the new buyer.
That's awesome.
So it is awesome, but the big thing to know, disclosure is required, and that easement, if you have a pool-sized lot and you got rid of all the grass and you had the SNWA conservation program add all the desert landscape or do whatever to that, the new buyers cannot put a pool in that backyard. So be very mindful of your resale value, because that definitely can affect your resale value if the buyer or purchaser of a home wants to put in a pool and this easement is in place, because there's no options for what they can do about that. So front yard's great, part of the backyard's great, but make sure that you keep your value in mind if you're doing that conservation program easement.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And it says that we actually use, Las Vegas gets about 90% of their water from Lake Mead. And I mean, which we kind of know. The rest, I think, comes from the Colorado River, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think 2%.
Yeah. And despite our population growth, We are currently 20% water use, total water use is lower today than it was 20 years ago. Not 20%, 20 years ago. Lower today than it was 20 years ago. So that's due to all the conservation efforts and all the things that we've done. There's even restrictions on how much, now there's restrictions on how many gallons your pool can be or how much surface the pool can be. Yeah.
And I didn't know that it says that Vegas has built like intake tunnels to take in all the water that are, it's like near Lake Mead, but it's like they're called under dead pool levels, like underground.
Yeah. I was not aware of that either till I read this information. I was like, hey, go Vegas.
So we're not going to run out of water and we're not all going to die?
Yeah, even though the lake, I mean, the lake looks, we had, remember the news articles with the boat that resurfaced and then all the dead bodies from the mobsters started showing up? I don't know if they're from the mobsters, but
they're from somebody.
There was people in bins, I'm just saying, just showing up in the lake when the water was dropping. So we do have a mob history. So even despite all of that, we are still doing very good on our water conservation. We are the only city on the river with that kind of access with what kind of access? Let me look at my notes here again. So we can still draw water from Lake Mead, and we're the only city that has that kind of access to be able to draw water from Lake Mead.
So we're not all going to run out of water and die. So that's the good news, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. We still have water. So we have a small water footprint and a big impact. We use less than 2% of the Colorado River's water. I do believe and I didn't bring data on this, but we give some of our like water from Colorado River, we are giving to California, or they have like certain shares of it, and
I'm sure of it.
There's other stuff like that.
And then another Mythbuster is that Airbnbs are super, super successful here, which I think there still are some, but there's so many more restrictions on Airbnbs than there was 5-10 years ago now.
Yeah, many people, when they think Vegas, tourism, all the people that come here, they're like, wow, I'm going to just buy a cash cow, Airbnb, make so much money on it. It's going to be amazing. But I think people forget that we have the Las Vegas Strip that has plenty of accommodations for everybody.
Absolutely.
With credits and incentives and all these things to stay there, and you're right in the center of the action. So Airbnbs are really not a great idea in Las Vegas.
They've put so many restrictions on them the last few years. They want licensing. They want a ton of different things that go into being able to operate and have an Airbnb. There's a lot of HOAs now that are not wanting people to rent out their properties and do short-term rentals. And so that's became a huge, huge problem.
Yeah. I have not seen one HOA that allows short-term rentals, unless you're in a condotel.
And most of the people I know that have Airbnbs are not doing them legally.
Yeah. And so the city has... they just approved Airbnb licensing rules or regulations in 2023, and they issue a limited number every year of licenses, and then I believe you're on a waiting list if someone has to give theirs up to be able to have someone else get it. And the caveat is you have to own the property before you can get a license for it.
Yeah, it just has become much, much harder.
Yeah.
And there's noise ordinance, and it's just became really something that's not as easy as it was years ago.
Yeah, so I think a good rule of thumb here is if let's leave hospitality to the casinos, which is what Vegas is built on. And Airbnbs are very great in some cities, but not such a great idea in Las Vegas.
Yeah, they're just not as popular here, and I think there's just too many other options. For me personally, I'd rather be in a resort, but if you're with a huge group, I think that's a good option depending on where you are.
Oh yeah, it's always nice to have a big group in a nice Airbnb so everybody's together. And gosh, the price of renting a penthouse on the Strip is
not fun.
Yeah, those villas are super expensive. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hey Vegas! Celebrate every day in style at the Composer's Room. From live music to comedy shows, we've got entertainment that'll give you that Las Vegas vibe. Our tavern serves the best drinks in Vegas. Whether you're a cocktail connoisseur or a beer buff, our bartenders got you covered. And let's not forget about the food. Our culinary delights are sure to tantalize your taste buds. Come for the entertainment and stay for the food. Reserve your visit to the Composer's Room today and start celebrating Las Vegas our way.
Looking for a night out that's pure Vegas? Welcome to Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club, voted best comedy club in Las Vegas. Located at the Link Promenade, just steps from the High Roller, it's your ticket to big laughs from top comics handpicked by Jimmy Kimmel himself. No two shows are alike. Every night's a headliner, and every seat's a great one. Get your laughs at the best. Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club, only in Vegas, only at the Link.
Hey Vegas! Celebrate every day in style at the Composer's Room. From live music to comedy shows, we've got entertainment that'll give you that Las Vegas vibe. Our tavern serves the best drinks in Vegas. Whether you're a cocktail connoisseur or a beer buff, our bartenders got you covered. And let's not forget about the food. Our culinary delights are sure to tantalize your taste buds. Come for the entertainment and stay for the food. Reserve your visit to the Composer's Room today and start celebrating Las Vegas our way.
Every home has a story. What's yours? From your first home to your forever home, Trish Williams helps you write each chapter. Real estate is about the life you build. Hire Trish to be part of your story. Trish Williams, Keller Williams Realty. License S.01755530, call 702-308-2878. Start your next chapter today.
I hope you guys are enjoying our show, and if you are watching us, please follow us right here on Hey Vegas TV. That's heyvegastv.com. You want to connect with us on socials, everywhere we're at. You can go to our link tree, realtycheck.vegas. And Courtney, how do people reach you directly?
Yep, give me a call or text me 702-416-6918. Happy to go over any programs. If you have lending questions, always happy to help.
Yes, and you can reach me, 702-308-2878. I am Trish Williams, and we're here every week. So keep watching, stay tuned, and we'll see you guys next week.